Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and the Nintendo Partner Showcase delivered new Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment trailer slash gameplay. I'm actually going to call it gameplay because a lot of this is actually gameplay. What we saw previously was just a little bit of snippet of gameplay, as there was a lot of story focus obviously on that reveal trailer, but this second one has actually significant amounts of gameplay besides the story. Of course, in the start, the old Hyrule Castle from a vantage point that we haven't seen before, its proximity to the Temple of Time, and all the activities happening here. Zelda and Sonia, Raru's tasks like handing the masks of possibly the later divine beasts, as you can see here in the case of Var Redania, most likely handing it to Redania in this case, because obviously this is the Goron mask. But one thing that is very interesting about the gameplay of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is holding hands. Like, the main theme of Tears of the Kingdom was holding hands, and there's a lot of emphasis of that as well. We see that between Raru and Princess Zelda, specifically in the depths. Joining hands, literally, are able to accomplish true miracles, crushing any enemies of lights. Then we see in other instances Raru and Sonia also combining their special attacks. But also, what's interesting to see, the sages together. It's mostly the sages that are combining attacks. We can see the water sage, the Zora sage in this case, most likely named Ruta, teaming up with Princess Zelda, and we can see a lot of how they are taking this to a next level. Where we played as Link alone, you couldn't really combine it in this way, and to a degree that is truly exceptional. I can't wait to see team-ups, especially with this new Gerudo Sage. And the fact that they actually dared to show her face and her dueling even with Raru here, it is exciting. Definitely very exciting. Sorry, I'm taking this out of order, but I want to stick to the gameplay theme here, and we can see that Raru proves his strength to most likely Naboris, so the name of the future divine beasts, and then seeing the common threat of the Demon King Ganondorf. And surprisingly enough, he isn't seen at all in this. Focuses a lot on the relationship between the different races, tribes, including Zonai and Hylian, Zonai and their constructs, and of course Zonai and the Gerudo, which is quite interesting because it's the first Gerudo footage of the distant past that we see of anything in Tears of the Kingdom when you think about and the distant past. It's our first taste, and we can also see, of course, how holding hands. We do have the cutscenes from Tears of the Kingdom that we remember on the memories carry over. We already got a tease of that with the first reveal trailer and the creator's voice, but here they take it to truly the next level. Raru, after what happens to Sonia, there's also a little tease at the end. Something in the depths hiding here, as we can see from the particles. Question is, was this located underneath what would become the next Hyrule Castle, or where Tears of the Kingdom started and ended before, the final battle? And we can hear the theme of 5 when this new construct is getting assembled. Is it like Link construct, or is it something else? Truly a mystery, and I love that they're adding these new mysteries. Back to gameplay. The Hylian soldiers of King Raru are replacing the soldiers we had in Age of Calamity. So they will be, of course, aiding us, but they will also be the first ones to be probably taken out by Gloom, as Demon King Ganondorf spread it out. They are not able to handle it, even with their spears. First Blood Moon for that match, but seen from a different perspective, as we saw in that birth of the Demon King cutscene in Tears of the Kingdom. But what's interesting in this whole setup is that not only are we going to be exploring across the unknown surface of distant past Hyrule, we will also be exploring the depths as seen from this gameplay sequence with Minoru, the sister of Raru. We can see the roots here, so this is in the depths. We can see her with Raru and Princess Zelda walking through a section of it before they combine the power of light, as we have already talked about. And then, I think a lot of the emphasis here was on the special attacks, as we can see here from King Raru as well, using his spear to unleash like a multiple spear attack against the Bokoblins and the boss Bokoblin as well, as he is fighting along his Hylian soldiers. What was probably my biggest highlight in this entire new gameplay sequence or trailer was Minoru battling soldier constructs in the sky. We can see the floating rocks in the distance. We can see the Zonai ruins, the old civilization. Yes, it was already in ruins back in the distant past. There's a reason why the Zonai returned back to the surface. And based on what we see on the right corner, this is the mining territory. So it seems like this could be, though of course there could have been more mining sites in the sky in the past, but I have a feeling that this might be actually over Akkala, based on that little detail alone. But yeah, that's unfortunately, the only little snippet we get of tease of sky stages and battles in the sky. Hopefully there will be far more of that. Fighting against or doing these practices against the soldier constructs of different levels. A lot of other things as well will be what adds a lot to this game. And what is great about this gameplay is that it doesn't reveal really the later stages of the game. But there are some teasers here and there. King Rauru in what would become the Forgotten Temple later on in the future. But I'm actually wondering how long it will take until we get to the, Demon King section of this game. Will it be as long as it took for the Great Calamity to take place in Age of Calamity, where of course it wasn't even the second half of the game in that case, it was pretty much the final third of the game. I have a feeling it will happen earlier at this point, because there isn't all that much happening. Of course you have the Molduga attack, but apart from that, not so much. But let's talk about the sages actually. With the other bosses that we'll be fighting, which seems to be a lot of... I think they will be in many ways replacing the blights here, but we could also of course see some of the bosses from Tears of the Kingdom still in this game. Like boss bokoblins, obviously, Lynels, it makes sense, and of course the Gleeoks. But let's talk about the sages, because we see one of them unmasked before, in that case, the Gerudo Sage. We haven't seen the other sages yet unmasked, that being the Zora, Rito, and Gerudo, but we at least get to see a little bit of their special attacks, as we see here. And not only special attacks, but combination attacks, where we have one sage combining with another, in this case, what is by all means Darunia with Meadow, as they are battling with other Gorons as well against the Bokoblins. And we can see that this is definitely not in the depths area of, or the area surrounding Gorondia. This is actually in an area not too far away from Death Mountain. Then we have some footage alone of what I assume is Meadow holding a flamethrower, a Zonai fire emitter, to burn some other Bokoblins, in this case some weaker ones. The other ones we see, and the fight is a higher degree and level, but we get to at least see our first gameplay of distant past Hyrule outside of the Great Plateau, or the most close areas that we got in the Memories of Tears of the Kingdom. Here we see Hebra, we see areas in and surrounding Death Mountain, and of course the depths as we already talked about in the past. The Zora Sage and Princess Zelda, it's probably an area not too far away from Zora's domain. It's in the lowlands, of course. It's not in what would become the domain later on. We don't even know. The only thing we really know about the Zora is that the water temple is up in the sky, because we know that Princess Zelda will be coming to the Zora Sage after the imprisoning war to tell of the plan and the fact that they are going to be aiding their future sages and Link as well. Then we have this sequence of Bokoblins, Moblins, and areas on fire. It's a little bit hard to tell where it is based on the destruction. It could be on the path to battle the Demon King, and what will eventually result in the imprisonment or sealing of the Demon King as well. The soldiers are struggling with Rauru as well, and the same goes with the constructs. It doesn't seem like they're being taken over, but who knows? They might get taken over, as we know that the seized construct was. And that is the question. Will it happen or will it not? That is pretty much what we have been able to see. It's a substantial addition to what we got in April and a little bit of snippets we got in May with the creator's voice. But there is definitely things to look forward to, and I bet we're getting another trailer in a proper Nintendo Direct. After all, they kept the release date away from this. It is winter, so it will be in either end of November or in sometime in December. We don't know about the lineup yet. Nothing has really changed after this partner showcase, as we didn't get the release dates of obviously Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Kirby Air Riders, but we will see soon enough. And that is pretty much all we have to go over. I want to see your reply and opinions on all of this in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and press the notification bell, as we'll be covering far more of Age of Imprisonment, new gameplay, all the way to the release in still winter 2025. Last but not least, a big thanks to all of you for watching, and to all our patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to Raw Producer, JC Funk, and Heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.